right, let's start with the muscles. Let's start with the superficial muscles. Okay? Remember, with superficial muscles, that this has to be flipped shut to see it. Okay? So, the way this thing works, the first three are the ones that have the trapezius in the name. So, you can't really see a division, a line between each of them. So what you want to do is just find the shoulder, and everything from the shoulder up towards the neck, from here to here. This is going to be, which one? It's the clavotrapezius.
Trapezius.
Yeah, right.
I'm just going to record you.
That's the clavotrapezius. Everybody good?
Yes.
Oh, now all we see is phones.
Somebody should have brought the light. That's a better lighting in here, right? Okay, from the shoulder basically straight across to the spine, so roughly there,
Okay.
that's the acromiotrapezius. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Now, from the shoulder down at an angle like this, so if I pin it there, spinal trapezius.
Looks the exact same place.
The difference is where it's located, superior and inferior. Okay.
Yeah.
So above the shoulder,
Above the shoulder.
again, clavotrapezius. Even with the shoulder, acromiotrapezius. Below the shoulder, spinal trapezius. Okay? Now, we also have this one. You can actually see a line. See this line where it's white to dark, right across here? I can't get this not to stick there. Right there. That line separates this one up here, which we already talked about, which was the spinal trapezius, from this large muscle down here, which is the latissimus dorsi. Okay? So it's going to go all the way from the spine. It's going to run at an angle this direction. It's going to go all the way up under the arm and attach underneath there. Okay, so this large muscle here is the latissimus dorsi. Everybody good?
Yep.
All right, so while we're here, let's go down and look at the leg. On the thigh here, we have two muscles. We have the biceps femoris and the semitendinosus. Okay? The biceps femoris is the big one. Okay, so if I pin it right there, that is your biceps femoris. Okay? Now, the semitendinosus, it's sometimes hard to see, and on this cat, it's very hard to see, but there's a tiny little line right here, and everything below that line, so basically right on the very edge, right there, as long as it's still on the outside of the leg, which is going to be the lateral side, that's the semitendinosus.
Show everyone. Hi, Miriam.
That's the semitendinosus. Everybody good there?
Yes.
Okay. Now, while we're here, let's go ahead and do the deep structures on this side as well. So, if we're looking at deep structures, this has to be flipped open, and you have to be able to literally see the scapula. If you can't see the scapula, you're looking at superficial muscles. Okay. So now we're looking at deep muscles. We've got several. First of all, if we pull the scapula to the side like this, you can see a muscle from the scapula to the spine right there. That is the rhomboideus. Remember, on the cat, it's just the rhomboideus. On the human, we have rhomboid major and minor. So we have two of them. Or we just call them rhomboids because we did them on three. That's the rhomboideus. Okay? Then we have, when you look here, you got to find the spine of the scapula, which is right along here. From here, superiorly, right there, is the supraspinatus. Okay? Below it, down here, is the infraspinatus. So the other thing we have in the scapular region is the subscapularis. Remember what the prefix sub means. It means
Below.
deep, right? So on the deep side, here, we have the subscapularis. It's also the anterior side. Remember, you're looking at this from the posterior to anterior, so deep to this side is the anterior side. Okay? Now, as we move down here, if we flip this back, you can see this long strap of muscle that runs from the base of the spine all the way to the top of the spine. Remember, this is a group of muscles that we learned called the erector spinae group.
Erector spinae.
Okay? The erector spinae group. Any questions before we move on? All right, let's flip them over. So let's remember this used to look kind of like this eventually. Right? Okay, so remember again, we'll start with superficial muscles, which means everything has to be flapped shut. Okay? If you look at the top here, you have to imagine that these things were still touching. Let's look at just this side over here. we have our pectoralis muscle. Okay, we have two of them up here. We have the pectoralis major and the pectoralis minor. The difference with these two is the direction that the fibers are running. So if I stretch this guy out a little bit, you can see that there are fibers that run basically straight across here. So those right there will be the pectoralis major.
Well,
Okay?
your flash really helped.
The one that goes diagonally from here